Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Salam and hello. Welcome everyone to another episode of our year-long Facebook Live series, Exploring Our Intersections, where Smile discusses the different intersectional experiences of persons with disabilities. My name is Raian Uthman, and I am a service navigator at Smile Canada. We're hosting disability activists from all walks of life to share their unique intersections and making disability central to these conversations. The topic for this session is Unchecked Hate, Resisting Islamophobia and Ableism. There will be a 5-minute portion at the end of the session for questions and answers, so please leave all your questions in the chat box, and we'll be more than happy to answer them, inshallah. So our community partner for this session is the National Canadian Council of Muslims, and this event is sponsored by Islamic Relief. In this session, we're honored to have our guest speaker, Nouma Hammash, a passionate disability advocate, and a regional services coordinator and mediator at Spinal Cord Injury Ontario. Nouma is a Syrian woman who grew up in the United Arab Emirates until she moved to Canada in 2016 as a skilled worker immigrant. She received her Bachelor of Arts in English Language and Literature in 2004 and a Master's of Social Work in 2016, both from UAE University. In Canada, she volunteered in projects that addressed issues related to persons with disabilities and their families by giving workshops, running groups, organizing events, participating in supporting groups, participating in course building, and speaking to the media. Her lived experience and academic background have enabled her to look at disability with a holistic view and provoked her desire to make a change so that people with disabilities live independently with dignity and support. Welcome, Nouma, and we're so happy to have you here today.
Thank you, Raian. Thank you so much for having me.
So let's get into the questions, inshallah.
Let's go.
So tell us a bit about yourself, your background, who you are and what you do, and what motivated you to get into the work that you are in now.
So as you mentioned, Raian, I grew up in the United Arab Emirates. And with regard to my education, like I speak mainly about the university education, I started as a holder of a bachelor degree in English language and literature. And with that degree, I worked as a translator in a hospital for something like 9 years. So I enjoyed the medical translation, working with like people, but it wasn't what I really wanted. I found that I can't continue my life behind the screens and the paper typing and all of that. I wanted more interaction with people. And at that time, I learned that the UAE University started a master's program in social work where you can join. It's a bridge program. So even if you don't have a bachelor degree in social work, you can join with a longer program. So I joined the School of Social Work. I enjoyed every bit of social work, like the education, the classes, the assignments. I found my passion there. And when I was doing my research towards the end before graduation, I decided to study, because like I worked many years in a hospital, I decided to see what role hospital social workers can play in supporting families who have children with disabilities. Because back in the Middle East, you don't see people with disabilities all the time. You don't see them in the street as you do. So I did a survey and interviews, and both of them showed me that there is lack of services, lack of support, lots of denial, lots of like even passive, alhamdulillah.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So like what I feel that alhamdulillah should be really content and let me do something, but not okay, that's my face, alhamdulillah, that's my destiny. So I like put in mind, what can hospital social worker do? Like I drafted a plan, and I found my passion there. And then I moved to Canada, and it happened like I luckily found a job at Spinal Cord Injury Ontario, an organization that serves people with physical disabilities, and more particularly people with spinal cord injury. So I found that my personal experience and my academic knowledge can really help, like making me a good fit for the role that I was taking. And like, by the way, I have a disability, a physical disability. I'm a full-time wheelchair user, and my disability is called spinal muscular atrophy. It is kind of neuromuscular disease that progresses with time. So I know the challenges of being a person with disability, and I studied it also. So I hope that both these two aspects can make me more able to help people and to make a change in general. Like there's nothing more rewarding than making a change in somebody's life.
MashaAllah. Can you share some of your intersectional experiences as a woman with a disability and who's visibly Muslim?
Okay. In 2011, I went for rehab in Czech Republic. And I noticed like people were like a bit cautious, like when you go to into the elevator, sometimes they won't go in with you. Sometimes you say hello, like they barely answer you.
Mm-hmm.
But I kept trying, like saying good morning, hi, how are you? Like they don't speak English so well, but I was trying. And after several weeks, I felt that they started to get a bit more comfortable with me. And like, I remember that somebody once asked me, like, are you Muslim? Like, as if you're not the typical that we know in media, something like that, you know, her question was like suspicious. Another aspect of that, don't forget, like you are meeting people, you're sitting in a wheelchair, people are standing usually when you meet on an elevator. You are physically not on the same level, you know? This would certainly have some kind of influence or not, you know? So that was an experience, but luckily with time, I built a good relationship with the staff there and with the residents because, you know, most people would go there and stay for some time. So we get to know each other. Another experience, which was really difficult, was getting a job, especially in the UAE. Because as I said, like in the Middle East, you don't find people with disabilities all the time, like participating in all aspects of life. And I applied to the translator job that I finally got, but I was rejected in the beginning. And then after a few months, the head of the department happened to be Canadian. So he was told that I was trained and I was very much like able to do the job. So he fought for me. And then a few months after I got the job and I started or something, I was talking to him and he told me, Nouma, it was not a no by the HR. It was no. So are you bringing someone with disability to work for us? It was a big no. I said, okay, if they wanted me to dance, I can't do it. But if they want me as a translator, I can do that. He laughed at that time, but it was really tough to get my first job.
Yeah.
Really, really tough.
So how does Islamophobia and ableism intersect in today's society?
Okay, we are in the time and era of globalization. Media really dictates a lot on how people think and feel. People are quite conditioned, I can say. In media, there is not proper presentation of people with disabilities. That's one thing. So if you find a movie with somebody on the wheelchair, it means that like the story is about the biography of somebody on a wheelchair. But you just don't feel you don't find a regular movie with someone just playing a regular role on a wheelchair or holding a white cane or being deaf and or hard of hearing. You don't see that unless the story is about somebody like that, like a biography. On the other hand, there is over presentation of anything bad done by any Muslim on the world. Okay, so people usually believe that Islam is scary, and people with disabilities do not really much exist. So that's one thing. And sometimes as a person with disability, you are always on that mode of proving yourself. So you want to prove that regardless of my disability, I can still be a member in the society, in the community. I can still live life normally. I can, although there are, of course, more challenges for people with disabilities. And at the same time, you want always to, as a Muslim, to be cautious, like where I am, what I'm saying, how am I representing myself. So there is this kind of being constantly on the mode of proving yourself positively, which is tiring, which is really tiring. And at times, it makes you also lose trust in the world around you. So, for example, if I go to the grocery shop and they didn't help me, I would immediately think maybe because of my disability. Maybe it's because I'm wearing hijab and I'm visible Muslim. Maybe yes, but also maybe not. So this trust in the world and the environment around you is also affected by this. Plus, something else that I can think of, today's world is quite competitive. And your success is maybe linked on how much you can contribute, how much taxes you pay, what kind of home you live in, all of these materialistic things. Many people with disabilities cannot work because of the health issues and because it's challenging to find jobs sometimes also. So, and at the same time, many like Muslim countries are not that productive, not that strong economies, not that strong countries. So put these things together. People might think, okay, he has a disability. He is Muslim or she is Muslim. He's really dependent on the system. So that's not fair also. That's not fair. So these things are certainly intersecting, and it's great that you are addressing this issue because it intervenes in our individual life and as a community also.
Yeah, it can be very difficult to constantly have to prove yourself. I say that. So how can we resist? Sorry?
It's tiring.
Yeah. So how can we resist discrimination based on faith and ability?
I strongly believe in attitudes. As I said, people are like preconditioned by media, by what they know, what they hear about. So just deal with them as if they don't know. Just have a positive attitude. Don't think that don't think ill of people. Just expect that they have good intention, but that's what they know. That's literally what they know. Say hello, smile to people, be open to their questions. Like if you are confident in yourself, in your faith, it's okay for people to ask you questions because you can answer them. So always start with attitude. I think that's very important because we can only change ourselves. You cannot change others. You can just change and have control over your actions. Also, excel as much as you can with whatever you do. Like remember, actions speak louder than words, right? Uh, excel in whatever you do and try to educate others. Like make them aware. What is disability? What is Islam? What is the truth? What is the deeper level of both of them? Let them understand. And a lot of that attitude would change if people know better. That's what I think we can do on the individual level at least.
Yeah. And I think that education comes from also giving people the benefit of the doubt. Like, maybe they don't know, so making them aware of the situation.
Yeah, and people don't know what they don't know, right?
Yeah. Especially if they're not used to it, like you said, in Middle Eastern countries or Arab countries, they're not used to seeing this stuff. So the education aspect is important.
It is super important. Yes, yes.
So how can we as an organization at Smile and as a community tackle these intersectional barriers and make a difference?
Okay, it's as I said again, I'm gonna repeat it again. Awareness, 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 education, like whatever opportunity you can take to make the community educated and aware of what is disability, what is Islam, what it means to be a person with disability and Muslim in the West. Like let people understand as much as you can. And also like it's very important to have a strong presence. So be there, like always try to participate as an organization in whatever opportunity. Be known to the politicians, be known to, like, Canada is going now towards hopefully more and more accessible, drafting more accessible laws and making changes. Like the plan is for Ontario, for example, to be fully accessible in 2025, right? So there's a lot of talks and activism regarding accessibility in Canada. You Smile as an organization, just try to be part of every of every conversation if you can. There, if you can be open to people of other affairs. Like I don't know like how much like your capacity, or that's like internal work, but maybe if you can be open to people of different faiths also, that can make things even because when you are like isolated, or people don't know you, as we said, and they don't know what they don't know. So the more we mingle with others, the more that fear of the unknown goes away.
Yeah.
And just excel, keep excelling in what you are doing. Keep people smiling. That's your aim. Keep people smiling as much as you can.
Yeah, those are great. Those are definitely great tips. Inshallah, we can implement those in the near future as well. So what are some of the major takeaways for people who may be new to this discussion on intersectional discrimination with respect to faith, gender, and ableism?
I'll say again, you can only change yourself. So first of all, maybe start by like exposing yourself to these discussions, like learn more about them. First, learn more about them and check your feelings. How do you feel about them? Do you really feel discriminated? Where is that coming from? What examples have you encountered? And then ask yourself, what could I done better or different to have a different attitude? Because again, we can only have control over our own actions and attitudes. So first of all, like be aware, like check, like the title here is Unchecked Hate, right? Check your feelings, check your thoughts, learn about this intersectionality, and then from there go. Be yourself, genuine representative of yourself, your faith. Uh, it's okay. Like for example, people might feel uncomfortable asking for help if they are in the grocery store. It's okay. That's who you are. Just be comfortable with yourself and ask people. And people are nice generally. You will certainly find people who will maybe look and go. People are not very helpful, but generally people are nice. So be comfortable with yourself, be comfortable with your disability, your body, your faith, learn about them. Again, the attitude I think is very important, and collectively, let's have an influence. Campaigns, activities, what else? Like whatever opportunity you can take to raise awareness and to make people know better.
Okay, so we're going to see if we have any questions from any of the viewers. so not at the moment. So if anyone has any questions, you can just write them in the comments, and inshallah, Nouma can answer them for you.
It's important for us, like, to take a break.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, we are always on that mode of proving ourselves. It's tiring. It's okay to take a break. We can't be always Superman and women at all the time. No. It's okay if you cry. It's okay if you retreat to your room, whatever that makes you comfortable. Like, we are humans at the end of the day.
And it can be tiring as well. You talked about how education is one of the most important things in educating people and making them aware. So that can also be exhausting, right?
Yeah.
If your role is always to be educating and
also advocating for your needs. That's another thing. Sometimes we have to advocate for everything. Getting enough attendant hours, getting a proper equipment, getting funding, getting an accessible feature in your building or in your workplace. Everything takes effort. And don't take them lightly, because, for example, if somebody on ODSP, Ontario Disability Support Program, they need a brace, you have to find the company, you have to get and call your worker and get what is called MSN form, and then get your doctor to fill it out, and then you send it back to your worker, and then your worker will send it back to the company, and then the company will call you and then start the measurements and then the order and then receiving it. It's a lot of work and time, many phone calls, paper to do. I mean, our whole life is really full. It's full.
Yeah.
Plus, you have to take your role in life just like anybody else, whether you are a daughter, a wife, a husband, an employee. You have to pay your bills. You have to take care of your family. You have to take care of your health. Right. Our whole life is really full. So take a break as much as you can when you need to. And I think I need to address that to myself first of all. Oh,
yeah.
We are always not good at advising ourselves.
Yeah, I think we're good at telling others, you should take a break, but when it comes to ourselves, we slack.
So I'm reminding myself here before I remind anybody.
Yeah. So we did get a comment. Someone said, "What an impressive and informed speaker. Wonderful job, Nouma Hammash."
Thank you.
So thank you so much, Nouma, for your incredible insights and your perspective. We're so happy to have had the chance to hear about your experiences and your knowledge. Thank you all for joining us tonight and for another session of exploring our intersectional series. Thank you so much, Nahid, as well, for interpreting. And we would also like to give a big thank you to our community partners and CCM for partnering with us for this event. Oh, we have a question here. Do you have any tips on how the community can combat Islamophobia?
I think to be just, as I said, for you as an organization, Smile, to be present as much as possible in any activities, and to be also productive in the Canadian community society. So let's not only stay within our Muslim community or within our disability community. Like, let's go out. I know it's going out of your comfort zone is not something easy, but people, if they don't meet people like us, they will not know any better, and Islamophobia is gonna continue. If you have technical and media skills, produce something. Media is so influential nowadays. Pictures, videos, I think all of these things can really help people change the way they think.
So another question we have here is, what role do you think the faith-based organization can do or should do to help?
First of all, faith-based organizations are very helpful because spirituality or faith is part of our identity. So when I need a service and I find it in an organization that has a similar faith, that makes me feel really comfortable and I feel understood and little bit stepping out of the proving self mode, because I don't have to prove that I'm a good Muslim to you. You know what is Islam, right? So for a person, yes, your presence in the society and the community is very important because it supports us, it supports me, it supports my family. And in the on the societal level, we are lucky to be like in a multi-diverse country like Canada, right?
Mm-hmm.
So strength comes with the collective efforts, right? So if you want to change something on the bigger level, on the macro level, as we can call it, it's way easier and more effective when you do it as a community or as an organization rather than individuals.
Mm-hmm.
So having these organizations is helpful for people, their families, and for the non-Muslim, non-disabled community also.
Yeah, I think a lot of times it's hard for people to seek help, and when you find an organization like a faith-based organization, it makes it easier to seek help from people who you know aren't going to judge you or who know more about you and can understand you.
Yes, and people who will not really attribute things that happen to you to your belief.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your faith.
Mm-hmm. So someone said, Salam Nouma, what role organizations and community leaders can play to educate people on the issues?
Can you say it again, Raian? Can you read it again to me?
Yeah, so what role can organizations and community leaders play to educate people on the issue?
One important thing I spoke a lot about that is the role of the Imams. When you step up at the Jummah to deliver your sermon, speak about these issues, speak about disability, and don't speak about it like with sympathy. We do not need sympathy. Like this is like, I mean, my condition. Listen, I always say I did not choose to be with a spinal muscular atrophy. Okay, but what is in my control is how I live with it. Okay, so don't give me sympathy. I'm okay. That's like God wanted that. So don't speak with sympathy. Watch the language. Like even when we do fundraising, it's sometimes I attended some events where it feels like people are just waiting for the sadaqah. No, we are like in Islam, we are asked to be one person. Like there is hadith about Prophet ﷺ, like this, the Muslim community should be like a body. If one part is aches, the whole body aches and have fever, right? So if we are fundraising for certain services for people with disabilities or for certain services for Muslims with disabilities, I'm sorry, you are not doing them a favor. You are doing your role as a community. Because when I am born with disability, it's not a test for me and my family only. It's a test of the whole society and the community. How are you responding? Is it with respect? Is it with sympathy? Is it with support? Is it with neglecting? What's your role as a community? Okay, so imams, the sheikhs, everyone, educate yourself, please, about disability. Watch the language, and I don't expect that you know everything. Reach out to organizations like Smile, like other organizations. Ask them how to address issues. Ask them what language to use. It's okay. So community leaders have a strong influence on the Muslim community through the Jum'ah ceremonies, through whatever activities that happens in mosque and Muslim communities. And also those leaders, I know that they have also connections with the non-Muslim communities or agencies or government agencies and parties like police, like MPs and so on, when these leaders are knowledgeable with good awareness, they can help represent our needs, represent our abilities, and represent us in general. So I strongly believe that starting with community leaders, education, education, education.
Right. So we do have some thank yous. Thank you, Nouma, and thanks, Smile, for the issues, bringing the issues to the surface. Another thank you is thank you for the reminder, claiming our stories and claiming our narratives is critical. And someone said thank you for hosting, great speech. So I think a lot of people are reflecting on everything that you discussed. Alhamdulillah.
It took me a journey. It personally took me a journey with lots of ups and downs and trying to understand myself. Certainly social work had expanded my knowledge of how the human beings think and feel. I do lots of meditation, which really allows you to go into your core beliefs, what we call them core beliefs, or your inner selves. At times it was hard to face yourself or your fears. But if you don't face it, you don't get over it. So I just feel like life is a journey. You keep exploring yourself and keep exploring your environment around you.
That's fantastic. So thank you so much again, Nouma, for everything that you spoke about, for your incredible insights and your perspectives. I just wanted to thank again our community partners and CCM for partnering with us for this event. So Smile is up to a lot this Ramadan, but one of our major projects is our Launch Good campaign. This Ramadan, Smile is on a mission to ensure our families are receiving the most support possible. Since March of 2020, when the COVID-19 pandemic began, Smile has seen a 53% growth in families that we serve. And this pandemic has disproportionately impacted racialized children and youth with disabilities and their families. As a community, we feel this too, right? And you spoke about this, when one part of your body hurts, the entire, body starts to feel the pain. So it's the same, right? And that's why for Ramadan, we're asking our community to support and strengthen Smile's roots in order for us to continue providing direct family support programs and services to children and youth with disabilities and their families. So Smile's roots are founded within community, and we spoke about community a lot today. We are rooted in the principles of inclusion and equity and ensuring that every child and every youth has a welcoming and supportive environment that they can grow in. So please donate and share our Launch Good campaign. You can also find the link on our social media, inshallah. And Ramadan Mubarak, have a good night, and we'll see you all next month, inshallah.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.